Hello everybody. So we have a 16th century cupboard, or a cupboard as it's often called. And now the purpose of this video is not only to share with you this marvelous and improbable item, but I will admit that this is kind of a Frankenstein piece, meaning that oftentimes 16th century pieces that are this old, are an amalgamation of various pieces of different old pieces, and I don't believe that the stand really belongs to the top here. And so this isn't the most integral, conservation-wise, it's not the purest example of a cupboard that we could find, but it is probably to some degree a 16th century piece. But the point here is to show you really what the cupboard reveals about the evolution of human history, because furniture is the expression of permanence in a society, and prior to the invention of this piece, the medieval people were running around with the prime piece of that period, which was the portable chest. And so what happens as the world becomes less belligerent and the lords and ladies are flitting around less through their war-torn lands, fighting with one another, is that they take the medieval portable chest, which would essentially be the top of this piece, and they raise it up off the ground and they place it on a stand, such as this, and they fix doors into the facade of the piece. And so the cupboard is sort of this sign of an increase of stability in society as the 1500s unfold. And we see sort of a typical Renaissance decor here. The piece might be partially French, partially Italian, but anyway, French furniture of this time was influenced by the Italian Renaissance. And we see on this somewhat modest piece one of the typical motifs of the day, these plume motifs, these feathers that are sculpted between the doors and on the edges of the piece. And then we see this nice arcade here, several arches, and then we see these typical cylindrical pillars of the Renaissance period. And if we take a look at the back of the piece, we're going to notice this very roughly hewn back here, which is heavily oxidized. And even if we wonder exactly what part of this piece is original, how much of it has been restored, as we notice different bits of pieces mixed in with glue and wax to try to mold something that resembles what it once looked like back together. There are different woodworm attacks from different times, and we can't quite tell what's a replacement, what replacement is an old, rotted out replacement. Again, the piece isn't exactly integral, but the back of it sure is a wonderful example of kind of what we think of when we think of 16th century furniture. It's still very rough because, of course, back in those days it was very time consuming to finish the fronts of these pieces, and so they would leave the backs rough. But the main thing here, as we conceptualize the cupboard, is to realize that it shows us the evolution, the increase of stability in society as the medieval chest, this portable piece that reveals a group of people who were ready to pick everything up and go, well, the chest transforms into something where people are saying, well, let's create a piece that's still somewhat small, it still dismantles, and we can still run away with it if we need to, but we can set things aside in it for a while as if we're going to stay here, And then, of course, furniture becomes much larger as the 17th century unfolds, and then up into the 18th century, well, it's a whole new world of comfort and permanence, and we end up with pieces like this, which are very much not portable. So, as usual, I hope you've all taken, some enjoyment in this little video. And if you'd like to support this endeavor of creating an online period furniture library of all the pieces I encounter, some more compelling than others, please subscribe. It would be much appreciated. Thank you.